Hello, welcome to Anime Mystics. I'm Roman, and tonight I am watching ReZero Episode 2. So, last week I ended up having to upload the episode twice. I apparently only watched the last half of the episode the first time I uploaded, so I had to go back and watch the first half along with the second half so that everything made sense. As far as I know, all the episodes now are just standard length episodes, so I should not have that issue again. um, so anyway, last episode, we met Subaru, the protagonist in the story. He was coming out of a convenience store with some ramen, chips, stuff like that. Getting ready to head home. And he's checking his phone and then just looks up and he's in another world. Based off of what they were showing as he's leaving the store and going and, walking around the store and stuff like that, he was called there. I'm assuming to help that girl. I know her name's Amelia, but that's not what they were calling her or what name she gave him. I cannot remember the name of the name she gave him, but yeah, from what I understand, he's brought there to help her based off of the, I guess, flash forward of seeing him die, and her die. So he goes into this world. He's basically already figured out what's going on. That he was transported to another world, that he is going to become like this protagonist, kind of like in the shows or video games. And he's like basically running through his head, oh, the protagonist has like great powers and he's this and that and he's... So far he's none of that. He is pretty strong though. He apparently does work out and trains himself so he can like protect himself whenever somebody tries to break into his apartment or something like that, since he lives alone from what he says. So he does have training in like martial arts or something. He ends up meeting, well, I'm just going to call her Amelia because that's her name. I cannot remember the name she gave him, but he meets her as he's getting beat up by these three thugs in an alley. She is looking for somebody who stole a emblem from her, and she believes it's him, but it's not. She ends up defeating the three. Her and her cat, like spirit, Puck. The only reason I remember that is because it's the name of the fairy in Berserk. So kind of the same thing, only it's a cat and not a fairy. So she asks him if he's seen somebody who has stolen, if he knows the person who stole her emblem, and he says no because he doesn't know her. He did see her and offers to help her track this person down. Does not know her name, but he was able to draw a picture of her so that they can walk around and show people, so they can be like, yeah, I've seen this person over here, or no, I haven't seen that person around at all, or anything like that. While they're searching, they end up finding this little girl who's lost, and he was not going to help at first because he figured they should just focus on the task that they're working on at the moment. But Amelia says that they should help her, and so says, well, if you're not going to help, then I guess I'll just do it on my own. Both helping the little girl and finding her emblem. So she goes over to the little girl to see if she's alright, but she's like scared. So he goes over there and he does like the magic trick where you like hide the coin in your like sleeve or something, and he makes it look like he pulled it out of her ear. That old trick. Gets her to calm down. She starts laughing. They lets them help her find her mom, who she got separated from. Um, they end up finding her, and later on, he ends up going to this stand that he was at earlier. Didn't have any money to buy anything, so the guy chased him off. So he goes back to see if the guy has seen anybody. Matches the image that he drew. And he's wondering why he should even help if he's broke and not going to buy anything. And he's like, look, I brought somebody who's a potential lifelong customer, so maybe you could help out. And Amelia's like, oh, no, I mean, I don't have any money. And dude's about to chase them off again. But then the little girl and her mother show up. Turns out that it's this guy's daughter and wife. And the wife explains that she had gotten lost, and they helped her find her. And he's like, all right, well, you know what? Since you helped my daughter, I'll answer any questions that you have. So they ask about the girl that took the emblem, and he hadn't seen her around, but he knew where she would be, and so sent them down to that area. When they get there, Puck, who uses a lot of energy, had to go to sleep. The sun was going down. He used a lot of spiritual energy, so it needed to go away for a bit, at least till the morning. And Amelia talks to these lesser spirits to find out where this person is. Once they say, they go in that direction. They find the building, and Subaru tells her, wait out here. I'm going to go in, I'm going to get the emblem, and, be right out. He goes in, looking around. It's really dark. Uses his cell phone camera. I think it was a cell phone camera. No, not cell phone flashlight. To look around. And finds this dude dead. He's got his arm cut off. He's bleeding all over the place. And then he hears a voice behind him. And he gets knocked to the ground. And as he's trying to get up, he feels like pain in his side. And he looks over and sees that he's been cut open. Now he's bleeding to death. After that happens, Amelia walks in to see what's going on, and then she gets killed. Basically, it was the whole situation we saw in the first half of the episode before he got sent to this world. After he died, it reset to when he was standing in front of that guy's fruit stand. Since he already knew what was going on, he was going straight back to the location. He beats up those three thugs again. Well, beats up those three thugs who he met in the alley again. Talks with the guy that was dead before, asking him if he had the emblem with him, in the shop. And he says, no, I haven't seen anything like this. But I do have some stuff coming in. Might be among that stuff. I cannot remember the name of the girl that stole it. I know it started with an L. It was Lot or something like that. So they go into the place and they're talking, and he's asking, what are you going to offer for it if she has it? And he's like, oh no, I'm the brokest person in the world right now. And he's like, then we don't really have anything to discuss because you can't buy it. And he's like, no, I have things that I can trade for it. And the guy's like, well, you do have some weird stuff with you. And he pulls out his chips and hands them to him, and the guy starts eating them. He's like, oh, these are really good. And he's like, all right, well, let's just stick around and see what you can offer when she comes back. He's waiting for her outside. She comes back. He kind of explains the situation. They go inside. She shows him the emblem, and then she's asking, okay, well, what are you offering to pay for it? And again, he says, no, I'm broke. I can't pay. And then she's like, well, then the deal's over. Because, I mean, you can't, I'm not doing this for no money. And he's like, no, I got stuff I can trade. He pulls out his cell phone and says that it's like a magic time capture or something like that, where it captures moments in time. And he takes pictures of them and then shows them on the screen that just captured the moment of them looking at him. And the guy, the large dude, says that it's probably worth around 20 holy coins. There's no less than 20 holy coins, maybe even more. So she says, all right, well, I got somebody who was already interested in buying it. So when they get here, we'll discuss it and see who comes out on top. Later on, this woman shows up. They sit down at the table. They start working their deal. She was going to offer 10 holy coins at first, and then he brought out his camera and his phone and showed that, and said that it was worth no less than 20. So she's all like, well, that's fine. My boss gave me, some more money to bargain with in case something came up. And it was 20 coins. So the big guy, Subaru's looking kind of depressed because he thinks he's going to lose. But the big guy is like, look, I told you that thing is worth no less than 20. And turns to the lady and says, based off of this whole situation, I'm going to have to say that the young man here has an advantage in this deal. So unless you can come up with a little more, he's going to end up with the emblem. He gets super excited, pumps a fist up in the air. This is a long description. Long story short, she ends up killing him again. He did get a slight hit in, but she cut him across the stomach. She had 2 swords. He didn't know that. She used one. He dodged and then kicked. And she had quickly used another one and cut him right across the stomach. He collapses and he starts dying again, and then once he dies, he goes right back to the front of that guy's shop, where he sees Amelia. After fainting, he sees Amelia walking down the street, and he runs over to her asking, if she's all right and all this and that, and saying, trying to talk to her, and she doesn't know who he is because once he goes back, it resets everything. The only person who remembers anything is him. So now he's got to try to convince her again to let him help. So I've gone on long enough about this episode. It would have been a lot shorter if it wasn't a 1 hour episode. So next week's probably going to be maybe, I'm hoping 5 minutes at most. But let's get into this episode and see what is going to happen. I am looking forward to it. So the video is going to be located over here, and the link to the reaction is going to be in the description down below. Turn this up a little bit, and we'll see if I need to turn it down at all. And we're going to start this episode in 3, 2, 1.